Welcome to the Man Cave Podcast with Dan Casper.
What up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of the Man Cave Podcast, brought to you by our good friends from Hy-Vee and Toyson Ford. Dan Casper here with you as always. Don't forget to check out the Swag Cave, the resident branding company, Swag Cave. That link is in the podcast description here. So, on this episode, straight up Brewers, man. We're recording this on a Thursday morning, which means Game 3 is tonight, hours from now. Kind of an emergency pod, if you will. Is that what the kids call it these days? But we got to talk some Brewers as we head into this do-or-die situation here. So, just to recap it again, Game 2, Brewers on the brink of elimination. Jackson Chourio. I mean, dude, what else can we say about Jackson Chourio that hasn't already been said, and probably hasn't already been said numerous times? I mean, Brewers start off in a hole 1-0 after the top of the first. Then all Jackson Chourio does is lead the game off for the Brewers with a solo shot to tie it. Brewers errors again, covering a base, leads to 2 runs for the Mets. Brewers inch a little bit closer, but then the 8th, they're down 3-2, top of the order coming in, and you kind of knew, okay, if the Brewers were going to do this, it had to come from the top of the order. Chourio hits another home run, ties it up. Then Garrett Mitchell later on in the inning with that 2-run shot, the go-ahead home run to win it for the Brewers. Jackson Chourio is... Again, I don't know how to say this or how to describe it, or I don't know what I could say that would be different or new than what's already been said about the guy. I mean, this is a superstar. The thing is, let me backtrack here a little bit. Maybe this is the way that I can kind of go about this. So, first of all, Jackson Chourio is not going to win National Rookie of the Year. If I was a voter, I'll be straight up. I'd be a homer and vote for him. But here's why I would vote for him. This is what I would kind of factor into it. Merrill or Paul Skeens is probably going to place higher than him. Jackson Merrill or Paul Skeens. But this is where I give Jackson a little bit more credit. Now Paul Skeens came in with a lot of hype too. I don't want to dismiss that or anything like that. But Jackson Chourio began this season with a new monster contract, big deal, long-time investment, 10 years, over $80 million, could be over $100 million with escalators and incentives and all that, without playing a single inning at the major league level. You add that pressure on, this 20-year-old who barely even played in a AAA level. A year ago, we're talking about how good he was in a AA. We have talked about, Brewers fans, baseball people have talked about Jackson Chourio for, it seems like forever, for years. Like he's been around and playing with the Brewers forever. This is his first year at the major league level. So he came in with a lot of hype, a lot of attention. And then before the season starts, you give him that big deal. The franchise is investing in him. They believe in him. They've got confidence in him. But that's still a lot of pressure for a 20-year-old. Great that he's got that security. He's great. He's got a lot of money. He's great. He's got a contract right now, and the team believes in him. But you still got that pressure. There's no way in hell, for me as a 20-year-old, first of all, I don't have any of that athletic ability. But there's no way in hell for me as a 20-year-old, I would be able to do anything like Jackson as a 20-year-old, to have that pressure, that contract, and the spotlight and all that. No way I could handle it. So going back to the Rookie of the Year thing, that's where I give him a little bit more credit, and that's where I look at what he has done this year. First time getting any major league experience, playing under that big deal. Then he's essentially replacing Christian Yelich right now. The way he has played, that to me speaks more volumes than maybe, having the highest batting average or of rookies, or most home runs of the rookies and such. When you add in all that external pressure and the fact that his team's in first place in their division, the 3rd seed in the postseason, he was a big reason for it, one of the main reasons for that. I factor all that into it. That's what just impresses me the most about Jackson Chourio. We knew the kid was talented. We didn't know we would see it this quick. I think a lot of fans, a lot of Brewer fans were willing to give it a little bit, maybe give him a year, like, okay, big leagues, going to be some growing pains. I thought he was going to have some growing pains, and he did initially. But, man, what the heck? What he's doing right now is I can't put it into words. I can't think. In Wisconsin sports, kind of focus just on Wisconsin sports, of another player, another athlete who came in with such high expectations and is so far living up to them or maybe surpassing them. Giannis wasn't that. Rodgers wasn't that. When they traded for Favre, it wasn't that. Maybe a little bit Braun, but I think this is even to another level. Braun wasn't to this level. And that's what impresses me the most about Jackson. And the thing that I appreciate the most about Jackson Chourio, from all accounts, when you hear his teammates, when you hear his coaches and managers, he doesn't have this self-serving ego about him. He doesn't have this attitude about him. He wants to get better. He continues to get better. He continues to work at it. Players like Freddie Peralta, Willie Adames, Contreras have embraced and mentoring him. There could be a little jealousy on some teams with this young hot shot coming in, already getting paid, and he hasn't proven anything. These players have embraced him. His teammates have embraced him. And he goes out there, and you can just tell he loves to play the game. He's playing with a smile on his face. He's playing, I swear, every time the camera's on him, it almost seems like he's got the smile. If it's a routine fly ball, if it's a single, he's got this big grin on his face. This is a kid. And I'm going to keep saying he's a kid even though he's 20 years old. This is a kid that is just so fun to watch. And I think if there's any youngsters out there, I think this is the best compliment you could ever give a pro sports player. That if this is a kid that I would want my kid to look up to emulate, because every kid's got their sports heroes, right? And to see Jackson Chourio, how he plays, his talent, how he goes about his business, the looks like he has fun out there. That's what I want my kid to kind of those type of players. So I know it's probably not a lot of stuff that, a lot of different stuff that hasn't already been said about Jackson Chourio at this point in time. But, wow. And the thing is, leading into this postseason, there's a lot of people, and myself included, that were excited about seeing Jackson Chourio at this stage. Like, we're going to see him in the playoffs. The national people are going to see him in the playoffs. A lot of people probably heard about him but never saw him play. How would he handle that spotlight? Like, he's handled the regular season spotlight fantastic. But what about a playoff spotlight? And the guy has exceeded that too. He's exceeded that as well. So far, these first two games, it's kind of been the youngsters. Garrett Mitchell with that home run. Don't overlook what Bryce Terang has done too from the plates offensively. It's been the young guys. Terang has been aggressive on the bases. For normal people, some of his hits are just singles. He's stretching them out into doubles, for crying out loud. So it's the youngsters. With Game 3 coming up hours from now, tonight, I think it's got to be some veterans. I think it's got to be the Rhys Hoskins. I think it's got to be a Willie Adames. I want to see some veterans now step in and be like, the kids have been carrying us. We got to do our part. We got to do it now. And speaking of kids, what a moment for Tobias Myers. Rookie, another rookie who has surpassed all expectations this year. Has pitched fantastic, especially since June. Rookie, first career start in essentially a Game 7. It's a do-or-die, win-or-go-home situation. It's going to be fascinating to watch him. He's going to have butterflies. He's going to be nervous. Everybody is. I think what's going to be key for him is, can he control that right away? Control those emotions. Have a quick first inning. And just, 1, 2, 3. Not a lot of drama involved. And then get a little comfortable there. But you look at these guys like Cheerio and Garrett Mitchell. First of all, I think what Garrett Mitchell did with that home run, 8th inning, bottom of the 8th, 2 out, tie game. You're in your home crowd. It's a playoff game, win or go home situation. To hit the go-ahead home run, that's got to be one of the best feelings in the world. Not just one of the best feelings in the sports world. That's got to be one of the best feelings in your entire life. Same for Jackson Cheerio to hit that home run to tie it. That has got to be, I think every kid dreams about that. Every kid, when you're a kid and you're in your backyard, you're in your or you're at recess, you're playing Little League or whatever, you dream of those scenarios. We've all done it. Whether it's basketball, baseball, football, you have done that. You have dreamed of doing what Garrett Mitchell and Jackson Cheerio did last night. You dream of what Tobias Myers is going to do. You dream about that. You imagine that. You put yourself in that situation as a kid. And the fact that these guys are doing it and they've accomplished that has got to be one of the best feelings in the world. So with this game time, and back to Jackson Cheerio, when you are in the conversation with Babe Ruth and all these other notches that you're putting yourself into history. So for one of them, for Babe Ruth, okay, how is he compared to Babe Ruth right now? Jackson Cheerio is the second player in Major League Baseball history to hit 2 game-tying homers in a postseason game. The other was Babe Ruth in Game 4 of the 1928 World Series. That's Babe Ruth. That's Jackson Cheerio and Babe Ruth. That's pretty elite company. So for the game tonight, my keys, I think, one thing that's going to be interesting to see, Tobias Myers, the pitching. How does Pat Murphy do this? It's because it sure seems like they have this mindset. They're not going to allow their starters to go through the lineup a third time. They don't want the Mets lineup to see them a third time. Will that be the case again with Tobias Myers? How short of a leash will Tobias Myers have tonight, knowing he's a rookie, making his first career postseason start, but it's a win or go home situation? You got guys in the bullpen that can give you multiple innings. They seem to be fresh for the most part. They got some work in, but not really strenuous work. So it'll be interesting to see what the mindset is. If Tobias is pitching well, but he gets to that point where it's the third time through the rotation or third time through a lineup, will they still make that change to go to the bullpen? That's going to be key. Tobias Myers starts there. Got to have a solid start from him. Help him out, though, offense. Put up some early runs. Quintana is on the mound. Every Brewers fan knows about Jose Quintana, especially during his Cubs days. It was like if you're playing the Brewers and you have him on your roster, you want to make sure you start him. It's another left-handed pitcher. Brewers offense has to work up that pitch count against him. Get to the bullpen, but get some runs early and support your rookie starting pitcher. Support Tobias Myers. Be aggressive on the base paths. Continue to run. Even if you get thrown out, like Garrett Mitchell did the other night, continue to be aggressive. And don't make any stupid mistakes in the field again. No more errors. Okay? Last 2 games, the Phillies have scored because of errors. Because of not getting an out, giving them extra outs. Credit to the Mets. Did I say Phillies? Credit to the Mets for taking advantage of the Brewers giving them extra outs. Can't do it. You cannot do that. So, Tobias Myers, offense, racking up the pitch count against Quintana, but also giving Tobias Myers an early lead. I want to see the veterans step up of Rhys Hoskins and Contreras and Willie Adames to help out those youngsters and play aggressive on the base paths. Continue to do what you did all season long. Don't change a thing. Do what you did that got there. As our good buddy Brandon Berg, I'm going to quote him in a text here that he sent me. Dance with what brought you there, and please, for the love of Mary, no more stupid errors. That's going to do it. Really quick episode of the Man Cave podcast here because I wanted to get an emergency pod out before Game 3 tonight. We're going to have a bigger podcast tomorrow with Brandon. Coming up there, we're going to talk about hopefully a Brewers win and looking ahead to the NLDS going up against the Phillies. So I'm Dan Casper, and that's going to do it for this episode of the Man Cave Podcast. Again, brought to you by our good friends from Hy-Vee and Toyson Ford. And don't forget to check out the Swag Cave, or the Residence Branding Company Swag Cave that's available. That link is available in our podcast description. And don't forget to follow and subscribe to the Man Cave Podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. I'll talk to you, hopefully, in the next episode, talking about a Brewers win and moving on to the National League DS. See you then.